Hello and welcome to episode 23 of our Timberborn Ironteeth Meander playthrough. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Glad to have you. Without further ado, let's get started. So last time, we decided we are going to need to upgrade our power tower. But I have decided I want to store up a lot more bad water before we do that. So let's get pumping some more bad water. All right. Maybe if we just flatten this out to get a good angle, not angle, access point, something like that to our bad water. Because to upgrade our power tower, we would have to turn off our bad water temporarily, and I would like to have some stored up before we do that. Whoa. Okay, this is going to need to be a little wider if we're doing that. On this side. There we go. Okay, so that will work. You know what? That should work. I need to set it so that new buildings are automatically bots. Let's just put bots in these bad water tanks to start with, because that way they'll pump 24/7. Okay, so to make sure that new buildings are bots, we just click right here. Workers allowed in new buildings, iron bots. Let's see if with that amount of pumps, if we can finally get some bad water stored up. Honestly, I'm not holding my breath about that. But we can sure try. Okay, and if I do something like... No, that won't work. I can just put it on one side, though. Oh, not that one. There we go. That is a lot of bad water pumps. Nothing to do in range. Okay. You say that, but you're lying to me. Just kind of rude. There we go. Nothing to do in range. Okay. You're not lying to me. Nor are you. Let's keep going around and just collecting some trees that are waiting for us. Ew. There we go. With that, we'll be able to get down there. It's an awful lot of scrap just and other stuff just sitting there. That should make it in reach. Make sure these trees are marked for cutting, and it's a good thing we double checked because they are not marked for cutting at the moment. How about those other ones we just did? Okay, those ones are good. Okay, now you're done. And so are you. Badwater is going up big time. Let's go ahead and maybe make... Yeah, I think I'm going to make a centrifuge over here. Like, say, right there. Let's go below this level. And I'll put a badwater tank right by it. Yeah, I think that'll be a fine spot. And then another large tank. This can be set to obtain. We need to unlock beavers for the centrifuge. It's not quite the shape for a grease factory. It's more charging stations for bots, though. And I do know we want some of those spread out. Just a little tricky to get them connected to power. At the moment, we'll let that be. Okay. So yeah, now we should be getting that extract filled up pretty good. Okay. I think at this level we'll cap off this whole side again. Oh, we needed to make this one wider, didn't we? Can they reach that? Let's find out. So, wow, I am just spinning around. The level we wanted at is there. Okay. Yes, I am talking to myself quite a bit this episode. I mean, that's what you guys came here to see, is me talk to myself, right? Just doing a little bit extra this time. Okay. Something like that, maybe? Good. There. Nothing to do in range. Okay, you're done. Whoa. We didn't get that one. Don't care. I think this should be ready to blow up. Perfect. Okay, and then we're going to want tunnels with paths. Oh, not there. I think I changed my mind on this at least. I want there to be a path that they can walk on the back to get to the other side if they need to. So with that in mind, we can go ahead make this one a canola oil. Yeah, we can set that at obtain. We don't need the tank holding extract to be at obtain necessarily. Badwater we should though. And the raw materials here we should have at obtain, like logs. That's fine. Scrap, that's fine. Metal, we probably don't need it at obtain because this is just where we're storing it. It needs to go other places for construction. Same with planks. Because we're producing all that stuff over here. and then they're storing the excess. We'll have ones near construction sites set to uptake, site near where it's going to be used. I like that our bad water is going up pretty quick. I just want to make sure we're not regretting that we don't have stuff going. So we'll build up extract, we'll build up bad water. And we'll get to have a lot of that. We'll get it stored up. That way it will be good to go once we start that expansion project. There we go. Okay, bat tide is fine. If we ever were worried about not having enough bad water coming out of here, like if this started to go dry, which it with the evaporation, it kind of actually is going dry. One thing we could do is make it more bad water storage. Whoa, 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 whoa. What's going on here? Okay, nothing's going on. I thought water was leaking from like our reservoirs, like we blew down too far. I'll say those shouldn't be overflowing, but it's just that our reservoirs finally got full, so the water finally reached over here. Perfectly fine. All food is doing okay. We actually don't quite have enough mangroves. We might need to... Okay, these are already unplanted, so they should be spreading naturally. Gatherers are able to reach everything. Let's make that one a bot, so he works at night too. Okay. How is our power? You know, it's doing okay with the extra water flowing, but we honestly might want one of these engines on otherwise. One more of them. So during a... Yeah. Okay, so when it's not a drought during a temperate cycle, these bad water pumps are less efficient. What we might want to consider is blocking this off over here instead, and then having a exit with dams off the map this way so that our bad water doesn't get diluted. Because these are less efficient when they're mixed with good water. Ooh, some flooding is happening there. I don't like that either. That risks beavers getting contaminated. Yeah. So we'll wait on that diversion project till we figure out where our bad water is going to be coming out here. Aha, beavers are already getting sick. So that's not great. Do we still have any of our decontamination pods up and running? No, of course not. Why would we? That would be silly, wouldn't it? Well, this is really a terrible spot for one, but I guess it's where extract's being produced, so that's something. Let's get below that scaffolding. That's annoying. So that has power. There's power back there, so we could do that as well. Just really glad these control towers don't need power, because that would be painful. All right. We're getting up there in bots, but we're doing okay still. Okay. Yeah, with the good water reducing the efficiency of our pumps. We're going down on bad water again. I actually what I should just do is make this taller and have the dams lead over that way. We don't need more water storage, so let's find a way to get some beavers over here. Over there. Which, I mean, we got this scaffolding already, so that's not going to be too tough. And we even got one that's just overhang right now. I mean, like we had a spot right there to extend it. That's what I was trying to say. Probably don't want that tube way there. So let's see, where's that put us? See, okay, we do need another one. That'll do. Okay. There's a lot of flow that comes through there. Let's just see where. Whoop. Okay, so that level, it's on that square right there, I believe. Yep, okay. So instead of building that, we can just put some dynamite there. I didn't even see where that was anymore. Double check that that's the right spot. It is, okay. And finish that tube way up there. Either side of that. Okay. Start going there. Yeah, I'll delete these and replace it with just levees or something, and I'll make the overflow channel this direction. That will cut back on how much power these wheels are producing during a temperate cycle, but it will make our bad water pumps more efficient because they're going a lot slower with that good water being mixed in there. Okay, the bad tide started, so strangely enough, that's really good news. This will stop overflowing shortly after these pumps take out enough water that this stops overflowing. And as part of that, when evaporation will also help play a role in that. Water is going down a little bit too, not much. We just might want to consider another pump, possibly. Might be okay for now. Let's see. It wouldn't be hard at all to put another pump down here, though. All right, so that stopped overflowing. So now our bad water production should increase. We really could use some charging stations near our bad water, though. In fact, it'd be nice if we could just connect this area even. Do something like that, perhaps. And then we could go up from this power shaft that's on the ground and make some charging stations over here. Yeah. So to do that, we just need to make sure we're on the right level. it's right next, it should be in line with, it should be one over from this. So right here, perfect. And then we can just use tunnels, but we want vertical power shaft and tunnels. Okay. I think right here, actually, I'm going to go right here. That is not completely in line with it, but I think we can make that work. That way we can have roads, a pathway going between the charging stations. And if we connect this over there, then that'll give a decent pathway to the charging stations. So I think we just go ahead and make like a nice stairway right here. Okay, with that there now. Did that connect properly? Kind of looks, it came with platforms. Platform and power shaft. I don't know. That's not what we, I wish it was just, well, it's not even vertical power shafts. Why did I think that's what that was? I thought they had a solid power shaft tunnel. That's what I actually meant to build there. So we're going to have to delete all of that. Not a big deal. And just replace it with vertical power shafts now. Top one doesn't need to be a vertical one. Go blow that up. Nice. And then let's put some beaver charging stations over here. I don't think we need quite that many, but nothing saying that we can't use it. Can they access this stuff still after they've built those charging stations? I'm not entirely sure. I don't think so. Let's just delete this one for now. Because then I know they can access that. Oh, we still did have a decontamination pod going. Okay. Oh well. We just need to build that last little bit. Oh, that's not what we needed. Okay, and then that. And this will charge all of those. Switch that over to bots and our district center as well over to bots. How are we doing on grease? Not the best. Could definitely be better. Let's go ahead and put a medium tank for grease over here too, so the bots don't need to go as far for that. And let's also get a control tower for these. To help speed up those bots too. I think at that point we're going to need another number cruncher. And honestly, we can just hook it up to our main grid, I think, because we have engines going anyway. So yeah, let's do a number cruncher. All right, about there if they can reach it, but they can't. Now they can. Yeah, because each of these control towers use up 3 science an hour. Yep, and a number cruncher produces 10 an hour. So that's going to be our 4th one, so we're going to be using up Um, it's an ideal spot for that, but they can't reach. What was I saying? Yeah, so we need another number cruncher because we're using consuming 12 science an hour and only producing 10. So now we're going to be producing 20. With that, they should be able to reach the control tower there. All right, now we're getting some bad water stored up. Good. Definitely needed it. It's holding bad water. Okay. Canola oil. We're running short on. I think canola oil's being our. It definitely is being our limiting factor for grease. So let's get some more canola plants planted. Is there anything that we're producing too much of at the moment for food? They're full on fermented soybeans and soybeans, and thus have some soybeans that have not been harvested. So I think we can definitely spare to get rid of some of these. Let's try that amount. And we'll plant more canola right there. Okay. Corn we got plenty of as well. Why isn't that canola being harvested? It's in range. Let's have one of these just focus on canola priority. I don't know if I want to switch that to bots just because they're so far away from any charging stations. So we'll leave that as regular beavers for now. Okay, so one of these farmhouses, one of the 4 in this area, is focusing on canola as a priority. Get that harvested right away. None of them can reach this spot. Oh, one of them could. That one can. Sweet. It looks like the tiniest bit of green over there. There's a tiny bit of green this way, too. I think that this one can reach. You know, we'll have you also prioritize canola. Let's give that a try. Just a few more green spots over here. Those ones might be green, technically. I think those ones are. It just needs the tiniest bit of green for it to actually count as irrigated. There's just this tiny little dot of green right there. This is irrigated. So one of the main reasons I'm expanding my canola production right now is to get grease. I'm gonna make a stair up here and then just flatten this. Actually, I don't even want to do that. I'm gonna build a tube way over there. We already got these tubes over here. So it shouldn't be that hard to get some tubeways up there. Let's see. It's just a matter of how I want to do it. And I want to do it like this, I think. I don't need this pause though. You know what? No, let's not do it that way. You know what? Let's not do it that way either. It's not, well, we'll do it this way, but that's not the spot I wanted at. You know, I don't need to go up nearly that high. We're just trying to get rid of this terrain to expand our... That'll be fine right there. You know what? You know, I changing my mind a third time. It's just kind of what I do. It's my style, I guess. All right, plenty high. Too high, actually. Unnecessarily high. Let's keep this going. I'm not really explaining what I'm doing here, but I'm just going to be building some of these and have the tubeways up there. I've done this before. You guys have all seen me do it. Doesn't make it a great idea, but it's a fully functioning idea. So let's see. This one lines up right there, so that's why I built this over here, because that way they can reach these two. If I go out this way. Plenty of room. Plenty of room. Plenty of room. Is that long enough? No. Okay, so instead of that, let's just do like 4 this way. That's more than enough room. There we go. More tubeways. Okay. Something like this, perhaps. Did I even say what I was doing here? I'm trying to flatten this to expand our crop area. I don't even know if I voiced that that was my plan. I hope I did. Or I hope it was obvious that that was the plan. If not, now you know. Scaffolding for this demolition is complete. Badwater stored up. Got 4K badwater stored up. We full on extract too? We're not quite full on extract. Let's we might need to build more centrifuges for that to happen. And that would be a-okay. We'll make that work. Not a problem. Let's get started on this upper level here then. Let's go down. Okay, there's our vertical power shaft. Okay, and we just need to get it over there. And that should be fine, actually. Then we can put that last dirt tile there. Okay. I'm just going to make that dirt too and then put normal power shafts there. Going somewhere like that. We just need to figure out how we're getting our beavers up there. And I think I know the answer. I just need to think a little bit. So, vertical tubeway. Blow this up. We put a platform below it. Okay, that's still fine. Looks like we need this one only to be a... No, it's got to be right there, so it's got to be a 6. We're going to keep that a vertical tubeway so that so that when we go up, we can keep extending that. Ta-da! That's how we're getting up there. And we can just put our paths here. And we can build a couple more centrifuges. And the tubeways transfer power, so no issue there. Where? Oh, there's not a connection right there for the tubeway station. Are you for real? They're for real. I didn't realize there wasn't one on the front here. Okay. Gosh darn it, that would have worked if we switched our vertical power shafts. Okay, not an issue. All we have to do is make that a 5. Okay, wait a minute. That's then going to be too high. What if instead of that, we just go with a 5 here? Yeah. Then the 2. That'll work. Kind of ugly, but it will get the job done. Lacks power. What? Why aren't you spinning? Ah, I see the problem. Oh, no, we want this to be vertical. There, that should connect them then. We are getting a lot of bots at this point. And a lot of bots don't have jobs yet. We can switch that though. Okay, I had a panic attack that I didn't hit record. Whew, I did. We're good. How is this scaffolding over? Where was it? Here. Oh, it's coming along pretty nice actually. Lay that down. No, I thought my priority would be to start expanding my power tower. Turns out my priority this episode is getting enough badwater stored up to expand my power tower. I don't want to run out of resources, especially since we're using grease for the bots. I don't want to run out of that, and we could if we ran out of extract while expanding our power tower. So, we are trying to prepare for the tasks that lie ahead. Yeah, between how much bad water we're pumping out of here and evaporation, it's barely reaching the edge of the map. Only 3 tiles are actually reaching the edge of the map. So we could not get a whole lot more bad water than this. The only way we could is if we build more storage and we modify our bad tide diversion systems. So instead of flowing off the map right away, we could make the bad water flow, like make a whole big canal of bad water and pump out of it before sending it off the map. And then, at least during bad tides, we would have more than, I think, the 2 CMS flow that this source has. So we could pump and store more water than just the 2 CMS would allow us. It would be RNG dependent some, because you would have to store up enough extra bad water from the bad tide to last until the next bad tide, and there's a chance it could be droughts instead of bad tides. So it would be hard to have a reliable source of bad water that exceeds this. You could also just make honestly, you can make a reservoir of bad water that only gets filled during the bad tides. That's essentially what you're trying to do. And then at the end of it, obviously, have it flow off the map away from your crops. That would be one way to do it. And depending on our bad water needs, with this only being a 2 CMS source and it's the only one on the map, I could see us potentially making a bad water reservoir. That is something to consider for the future. Okay. I'm nervous that I will mess up expanding that power tower, and that we will thus run out of materials. Each extract is made from 4 bad water. And basically we're worried about grease, right? So, and extract for the grease. So it's more efficient to store extract that's already been processed. So that's what we're going to work on here. Just debating if I want another centrifuge to help that process along. I think one more wouldn't be a bad idea. Okay. Let's see. Do we have our regular beavers working any dangerous jobs yet? Looks like we need to unlock it there. Yeah, we can definitely replace these food factory workers with bots. Okay. Trying to figure out where our actual beavers are getting injured. Let's just look at the work tab. We have 9 free bots. So let's look. I mean, not that coffee brewery is getting them injured, but we can have them there. Bad water pumps. Now all of them are beaver bots. Okay, not worried about the deep water pumps. Explosive factories are pretty big injury. We still have 2. Foresters I'm not worried about. I guess a gear workshop? Yeah. Leave it at that and see if we can get some of those injuries down then. So ideally, well, maybe not ideally, but I would expect our badwater to be going down while we're making a whole bunch of extra extract. You know, I did say just one more centrifuge, but I'm going to do yet another. Actually, I think I'm going to have a charging station up here first. Maybe we have the charging stations go between both sides so that there's some connectivity in case they need to get there for resources. I think that is completely acceptable. The only issue is we would, no. Because we would need to get power across here. Nope. I don't think that's worth it. We could finagle it to get it over there, up and over, but that starts to get really complicated. I guess it wouldn't be too complicated. Like, we could just do that. We don't even need it that big, do we? Well, maybe we can fit the charging station under there if we do have it like that, though. Nope, charging stations are taller than that anyway. Okay, so yeah, we can get rid of that with just we don't need to make it fancy at that point. We can just do the standard tunnel method, right? I mean, platform method. And then that will allow our power to get to the other side. Although I don't want to go that far because this is actually, I do believe, yep, where a path will be. Let's see. We could even put another tubeway here. Do that. And they're already using that charging station. So yeah, these bots were going pretty far to charge. Oh, we're having way more demand than we're supplying right now. Let's turn some of these engines back on. I think even I'm gonna build, just for the time being, a few engines right as part of our industrial sector. Just get some more power going in there. We might want to consider expanding our tree farm because we're using up some logs now. All right. We can actually pause one of these at the moment. Okay. We must be full on dirt. Our dirt storage is full, okay. Back to this part of the project. Looks like we have scaffolding on the way. Yeah, we just need to go down 2 more. And we just need basically this spot to be replaced with dams. 3 dams is not going to be enough flow. Because we have a total of what, 11, so we're going to need 6. Yeah, 6. So how can I expand that easily? I don't want to build a whole bunch more scaffolding just to do that. Oh, what am I doing? I know the easiest way to do this. The easiest way to do this would be trying to think how I want to do this. I don't want to actually puncture this with an underground tunnel. So I'm going to put a tube-way station up here. Then I'm going to put a platform right here. Oh, okay. Now we can get down here. And now we just need to connect this. I'm going to do right here. I go down quite a few layers actually. Till we hit the bottom. Okay, we're at bottom. I just need to find where the nearest. Okay. It's further away than I expected. Okay, and we're not going to hit anything doing that. Okay. There we go. It's actually quite a bit of tube ways. It's not easier at all. What was I thinking? Wait a minute. Okay, that is a solid tube way. Okay. So that is what we need. And we can put that there. Okay. It just didn't show it connecting down, and that's just because it's the mod, I think, that's giving us that option. All right. Why is it paused? So yeah, we can do that, and then with having access to that, it's pretty dang easy from there to do something like this. We'll set those there to start with, and then we'll blow this up and just have all of that be have 3 dams here, and then it can go around that corner like that. It'll be fine. And we can switch this to levees. And then instead of the good water flowing out this way once this is too full, it'll flow out this way and be off the map. Let's see. Okay, we're full on canola, but low on canola oil. Well, that just means we need some presses. So that's the problem at this point. I bet there's a bunch of canola over here waiting to be harvested. Yep. Apparently I missed a spot right there. You know, it really wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to have, yeah, we should have some canola storage over here too. Right there, canola seeds obtained. And it also wouldn't be the worst thing to have a little grease. Oh, not that direction. Grease tank here, just to so the bots don't have to go as far to grab it. Let's give that a try, huh? Now we're harvesting our canola seeds. And now we're making them into oil with the other presses. Definitely more than 2 high, so let's, I don't know if it's 3 or 4, but we can start with triple dynamite and do a single if we need to after. Okay. Yep, these presses are gonna come in handy. We should really switch another hauling post over to bots. There we go. That way stuff still gets moved at night. And looking at some of this, it looks like maybe we don't have enough charging stations for all of our beavers. For all of our bots. I can squeeze one more in over here. But let's pause these because I forgot I'm going to need power shaft there first. Okay, those power shafts are built, so now charging stations. And look at this lower level. I think we have about as much charging stations down here as we really can, unless we delete something. Okay, well, we could put some charging stations right here, actually. And then just a power shaft, and then we can have some more charging stations. So that should help. All right. Canola oil still isn't going up because we're using it as fast as we can in those grease factories. We quite possibly have more grease factories than we can produce enough canola oil for. Unconnected building. Oh, yep. You're right. There we go. Looks like our population is slowly still going up, and that's just fine. It's going up at a reasonable rate, in my opinion, so that we don't run into issues with. We're not suddenly surprised by our food crashing. Well, unless we really don't pay attention, and that can happen, definitely. Um, let's see. 1, 2, 3. Yep, this should be a 3. That should be enough to let the water through. Yeah, our logs are slowly going down, so we're gonna need to expand our tree farms. And I think we just build another forester, to be honest. We're here, and then we can plant oaks over here. We can even do that. I'm gonna do that. Looked like there might have been a little bit of green here. We're gonna find out if they'll actually plant those. That one apparently was good. I don't know about this one though. I'm guessing not, since it's still not planted. Nice. Okay, that didn't get quite as much growing area as I thought it would, but it's fine. Definitely still gave us some. Let's see any green here. It looks like there's a hint of green there. Hint of green. Not to be confused with wintergreen. There we go. No. Nothing over there. Okay. Well, we got some more canola planted. All right. I think we got enough stuff prepared that next episode we will for sure get this power tower expanded. I feel better having 5k badwater, 3k extract stored up. I think even if I really mess this up and it takes longer than it should, I think we have enough resources stocked up. It would be even better if more of those resources, more of that badwater was turned into extract, because extract is such concentrated badwater. Each extract is basically worth 4 badwater for what we're using it for. The only thing that uses badwater directly is the explosives. And we have just a little bit of explosives. 1,300 to be exact. Let's finish up this little project here. Seems kind of strange that we're building a way for our good water to flow off the map. Oh, that bot's going to be stranded. But it's flowing off the map regardless down here, eventually. We're just making it happen a little bit sooner to keep our bad water pure. That's all. Which, striving to keep your bad water pure is kind of a new thing for me. Because I have played more Folktales than I have Ironteeth. And Folktales, when they need bad water, they build that bad water rig, so they just work directly at the building. So there's not all of these bad water pumps late game when you need a lot of bad water. So since there's bad water's not flowing in the Folktale late game, it's closed up, and they're just going directly to the source as employment to collect their bad water. So bad water is not flowing, So keeping it pure for efficiency of pumping isn't really an issue. Even if there shouldn't be any more flood surges here, since the floods should go this way. We can actually delete that. I really should have done that before I built these levees. But if I just build one stairway, they should be able to then reach all those materials from there. Okay. But we are over an hour. Today, our accomplishments were leveling this to expand our growing area for food. Kind of for food. A lot of the canola that we're growing over here is being directed completely to grease, and that's fine. We really increased our badwater storage, our extract storage, our badwater pumping capabilities, our extract producing capabilities, our canola oil producing capabilities, and all of that basically boiling down to getting more grease stored up, hopefully. We can produce it more efficiently now that we're getting the canola oil properly, and then that's all to have enough grease and to not run out when we turn off our bad water and start expanding our power tower. It is going to be a bit of a process. Actually, we can kind of expand some of this, like kind of get this leveled and ready to go before we turn it off. I think. We are going to have to redo this side and make it more similar to this, where there are these overhangs mixed in there that allows for the connection of the water wheel to pass through. And even on the side where that part of the water wheel specifically itself, like right here, that's the water wheel. That's not a power shaft right there, but it will be a power shaft over here, just to connect it to the other water wheels. Maybe on this side it very well might be this shaft again, but it'll basically be similar to this. How if we go down a few layers, we have overhangs to accept this part of the water wheel that connects directly to the other water wheel. So that's going to happen here too. And I'm going to have the overhangs on the far side again in case we ever want to expand this more. We can also expand it this way as well if we wanted, but I think for now I'm just going to have it zigzag more on this direction. I think that should be just fine. Okay. So that's what we accomplished and what we're planning for next time. So if you watch this whole video, thank you so much for your support. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, which I assume if you got to this point, you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time.